Okay, so India's electric vehicle revolution, it's not coming, it's here. And the scale is just, wow, it's almost hard to wrap your head around. It's this huge leap forward, right? Clean transportation for millions. But, and this is a big but, with this incredible boom comes a challenge that's just as massive, one that could make or break the whole thing. So let's look past all those shiny new EVs and ask the one question that really matters.
Yeah, it really all boils down to this one thing. India is going electric. But what happens after? What happens when the power runs out? And no, I'm not talking about charging stations. I'm talking about the batteries themselves, after years of use. Are we actually ready for the tidal wave of battery waste that is absolutely 100% coming our way? But before we get into the heavy stuff, let's just take a moment to appreciate the success story here, because it is genuinely remarkable. Thanks to government pushes and a huge change in what people want to buy, India has exploded onto the scene as one of the fastest-growing EV markets in the world. And let's be clear, this isn't some forecast for the future. This is happening right now, on the streets today. So when you picture an EV, you might be thinking of a sleek, expensive car. But that's not what's driving this revolution in India. Nope. It's the humble 2- and 3-wheelers. Get this. In 2024, they accounted for a staggering 95% of all EV sales. That's not a typo. These are the real workhorses, the ones zipping through cities, delivering everything from people to packages. And the ambition here is just massive. The government is targeting 80 million electric vehicles on the road by 2030. 80 million. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's a complete transformation in less than a decade. And of course, money talks. The economic engine powering this stream is just exploding. We're looking at a market projected to grow more than 5 times over in just 8 years. I mean, that's just incredible growth. But you know how it is. Every success story has a flip side. And this is it. This is the flip side. For every single one of those millions of new EVs, there's a battery. And every single one of those batteries has an expiration date. We're all celebrating this amazing boom, but it feels like we've been collectively ignoring the ticking time bomb that comes with it. Remember that number we talked about? 80 million? That's 80 million vehicles, which means, yep, 80 million batteries that will eventually need to be replaced. So what happens then? Where do they all go? This isn't just a trash problem, you guys. This is a massive resource crisis waiting to happen. And this image, this says it all, really. On one hand, you have the promise, right? These clean, sleek, high-tech battery packs. But on the other hand, you have the reality for a lot of them. Hazardous, dangerous waste being picked apart in the informal sector. The difference is, it's jarring. So, just how much of India's battery waste ends up in this informal, unregulated system? You might want to sit down for this. Nearly 90%. And the way they're processed, well, it's often incredibly unsafe and not at all scientific. And the consequences of that are pretty severe. You've got toxic chemicals, things like hydrofluoric acid, literally seeping into the soil and the water we drink. That's a huge environmental problem, and it's also a major health risk for the workers and anyone living nearby. And to top it all off, we're just throwing away all the valuable critical metals that are locked inside those batteries. Okay, but it's not all doom and gloom. The good news is there's a really powerful solution on the table, one that could turn this ticking time bomb into a huge strategic asset. It's all about something called the circular economy. The concept is actually pretty simple, but it's a total game changer. Think about how we normally do things. We take resources, we make something, and then we throw it away. A circular economy says, nope, let's not do that. Instead, it creates a closed loop. The goal is to waste absolutely nothing. You keep using resources for as long as you can, and then, when something's done, you recover the materials and use them to make brand new stuff. So what does this look like for batteries? Well, it's a proper scientific process. It all starts with collecting them safely and sorting them. Then they're carefully discharged, you gotta make them safe, and taken apart. After that, machines shred the components into smaller pieces. And that sets up the final, kind of magical step, using advanced chemistry to pull out all those pure, valuable metals. Metals that can go right back into making brand new batteries. And this is what you get. It's called black mass. And honestly, it's like a treasure chest in powder form. This stuff is packed with all the good stuff: cobalt, nickel, manganese, lithium, the exact same critical metals that India currently has to spend a fortune importing from other countries. And this is where the story gets really interesting, because suddenly we're not just talking about an environmental fix anymore. We're talking about a massive economic and strategic opportunity. This isn't about waste management, it's about wealth creation. It's about securing India's future. How big of an opportunity are we talking? Well, by 2030, India's battery recycling industry is projected to be worth $3.5 billion. That's a huge prize just sitting there waiting to be claimed. And it's not just about the money either. Building out this formal system could be a major job creator. We're looking at estimates of up to 41,000 new skilled jobs by 2030. The business case here is just a no-brainer. It is up to 48% cheaper to get these battery materials from recycling than it is to dig them out of the ground. It's just smarter, more efficient, and way better for the planet. So when you add it all up, the benefits are just huge. It's a massive win-win-win. You reduce the need for expensive imports, you create tens of thousands of jobs, you save a ton of money, and you slash carbon emissions. I mean, the argument for building this circular battery economy is just overwhelming. Okay, so the why is clear. The big question is how. How does India actually make this happen? Well, the journey to close this recycling loop has already started. But yeah, there are still some pretty big hurdles in the way. And look, this isn't just some idea on a whiteboard. It's really happening. You've got companies all over India already running pilot programs, testing out electric trucks and other heavy vehicles. They're proving this stuff works, building out the infrastructure, and basically inventing the future of electric logistics. The innovation is happening on the ground right now. But, and here's the catch, there are still some major gaps in policy. The rules might be on the books, but they're not always enforced. There isn't enough formal infrastructure to collect old batteries, especially outside the big cities. And maybe most importantly, most people just don't know what to do with their old batteries. These are the gaps we absolutely have to close. This quote really sums it all up perfectly. This isn't just about being green or managing waste. It goes so much deeper. It's about national security, it's about economic freedom, and it's about India stepping up as a world leader in clean energy. And that really leaves us with one final crucial question. The path forward is pretty clear. India is standing at a crossroads. Down one path, there's a mountain of hazardous battery waste. But down the other, there's a chance to build a world-class circular economy, one that turns that exact same waste into a strategic national treasure. The choice that gets made now will, without a doubt, define India's electric future.